Good morning and welcome to the Section 504 updates for the 2016-2017 school year. My name is Maria Embry and I am the Section 504 Dyslexia Contact here at the ESC Region 11, and I'm bringing you this information to give you the latest and greatest news and topics related to Section 504 that pertain to your upcoming school year. The first thing that we're going to highlight is this letter from the Office for Civil Rights. It came out July 26th of 2016, and it has some very useful information that we need to know regarding serving students under Section 504 who have ADHD. Then I'm going to speak to you a little bit about a new online Canvas course that has been created so that all of your staff can be trained in a foundational understanding of what Section 504 is and what its implications are to students that have disabilities on your campus or in your district. And lastly, we're going to take a quick tour of our Region 11 Section 504 webpage that has many valuable resources for you to utilize. So let's begin. This is the letter from the Office of Civil Rights, and it says, "Dear colleague, I write this letter to clarify and provide guidance on the federal obligations of school districts that receive federal financial assistance from the U.S. Department of Education to students with specifically attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the department's implementing regulations. This federal law prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability and requires school districts to provide an equal educational opportunity to students with disabilities." We are going to highlight this next part very clearly because this letter has an intent and a purpose for why it was distributed to all parents, stakeholders, schools, and others. Here it states, because the Americans with Disabilities Act, Amendments Act, clarified the broad scope and definition of the term disability, more students with ADHD are now clearly entitled to the protections under Section 504. That's a very key point to keep in mind with this OCR guidance. The reason this letter was created, as they state here, is they've collected data for the last 5 years. So from 2011 to 2015, the Office for Civil Rights received more than 16,000 complaints alleging discrimination on the basis of disability in elementary and secondary education programs. And approximately 2,000, or 1 in 9, of these complaints involved allegations of discrimination against a student with ADHD. So in their process of collecting this data, they have found that when resolving such complaints, OCR found that many teachers and administrators often take appropriate action to ensure that students with ADHD receive the protections to which they're entitled under federal law, but many others are not familiar with this disorder or how it could impact a student's equal access to a school district's program. It goes on in the letter to talk about how important it is to provide FAPE, or a free and appropriate public education, to all students. But here are some issues that they have found, and we're going to highlight them here. Some of these problems were found as follows. Students are never referred for or identified by the school district as needing an evaluation to determine whether the student has a disability and needs special education or related services, or the student was not evaluated in a timely manner once identified as needing an evaluation, or the school districts conducting inadequate evaluations of students. So these are some major issues that have come up through the Office for Civil Rights investigations. I'd like you to take just a moment and think about your district, think about your campus, think about the students that are under your care. Reflect on how good a job your campus or district has done in these specific areas. For example, are you sure that every student who's suspected of having ADHD had an appropriate evaluation? Was it done in a timely manner? And was it done completely instead of inadequately? So keep those things in mind. Also, it talks about here that the main finding OCR found was that many times district failed to meet their Section 504 obligations when they did this thing. They were not making appropriate decisions about the regular or special education related aids and services or supplementary aids and services that the student needed, and the appropriate setting in which to receive those services based on a misunderstanding of ADHD and the requirements of Section 504. So there's a twofold issue. There's a lack of understanding of exactly what ADHD is, and then an inadequate way of evaluating it, and then an inadequate way of providing the resources and tools needed by the student with ADHD. Also, this one was an issue that came up. There was a failure to distribute relevant documentation to appropriate staff. And then lastly, the issue was sometimes there was inappropriate administrative and financial burdens in selecting and providing appropriate related aids and services. So these are a lot of issues that are brought up by the Office of Civil Rights that if we want to start off on the right foot in the 2016-17 school year, we need to think about how are we evaluating for ADHD, how are we selecting the accommodations, interventions, supplemental aids, etc. for our students with ADHD, and do all of our staff have the appropriate documentation to be able to implement the 504 services plan successfully. This last part of the letter really gets to the heart of it. They have created a resource guide to make things much easier for school districts to be sure that they are in compliance with Section 504 law. And it says here the purpose was to help educators, families, and students and other stakeholders better understand the laws as they pertain to students with ADHD in elementary and secondary schools in order to ensure that these students receive the regular or special education related aids and services or supplementary aids and services the students need to be successful. And again, this letter encourages you to use this information to ensure that your school district is properly evaluating and providing timely and appropriate services for students with ADHD. So we're just going to take a quick moment and scroll down from this letter and take a look at this resource guide. This again is approximately a 40-page document, and it spells out specifically from the Department of Ed and the Office of Civil Rights how we should serve students with ADHD under Section 504. This resource guide is something you definitely want to download, save it to your desktop or your laptop, or print out a copy of it so that you're sure you've read through it and understand. When you're reading through this, although it is specifically targeting ADHD, if you think about it, really all of the guidance that they provide in here also pertains to students with other disabilities that are served under Section 504. We always want to have a student to be evaluated in a timely fashion, and we always want to find those resources that meet their needs. And so also with all students, we want to document and we want to distribute to the appropriate personnel all the things in a Section 504 services plan. So what this guide does is it speaks directly to students with ADHD. However, it can also be helpful in a district or a campus 504 coordinator reading through this, thinking through the lens of, yeah, this practice should be really for all my students who have disabilities under Section 504. So again, this is quite a lengthy document, but it is well worth your time to explore this. and to use this as your guide as you're making decisions for your first maybe Section 504 meetings for your school year. And it has a lot of foundational pieces in it as well. And it talks about, again, the obligation to identify, evaluate, and make placement determinations. And specifically, it talks about the due process or procedural safeguards that are in place to protect students with disabilities. So please do read through this entire document, highlight it, and of course, as always, you can call or email me if you have any questions. When you're analyzing or reflecting on the practices within your district and you're not sure that your current practice is in compliance with Section 504, that's a great time to call or email me, and we can talk through and ensure that whatever practice you have in place in your district or campus is in compliance with the Section 504 laws and puts your district in the best position to protect itself against litigation. We're going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk for just a minute about the Section 504 online Canvas course that has been created for all of the districts in Region 11. So we're going to switch over here to our ESE Region 11 workshops listing, and this is the course. You can search on our website just these words, Section 504, and this online Canvas course will populate. What's really good about this online Canvas course is that it reaches a lot of audiences. This could be great for a brand new classroom teacher, a seasoned classroom teacher, an assistant principal, a counselor, a district level person, a Section 504 coordinator. It's really made for anyone who wants a fundamental understanding of Section 504 laws and their impact in public school issues. So if you will, again, go to this site, log in to this Canvas course, view this Canvas course, complete it. You will receive CPE credit for it. And because it can be accessed 24/7, it's really a valuable and accessible resource for you to watch and to share with others within your district and campus. So I highly encourage you taking advantage of this opportunity to watch the Section 504 online Canvas course that's been created just for Region 11 districts. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, if you go out to our main page, it's our ESE 11 homepage, ese11.net. I wanted to direct your attention to the Section 504 and dyslexia page. You'll just go to our main webpage, click on the right box, the blue box that says Programs, and then from there select Dyslexia. Now you are on the Dyslexia and Section 504 webpage, and I specifically wanted to draw your attention to the Section 504 page. Here you'll see updates on all things Section 504, and one of our biggest updates we have is our new partnership with Success Ed. Region 11 went into partnership with them the end of last year. Success Ed has a Section 504 software solution that I highly recommend, and I wanted very much to bring your attention to this. It takes away the burden of the pencil and paper system of tracking students in your districts and campuses who are served under Section 504, and it puts it into an online system that is very comprehensive and truly is, for, in my opinion, the best way to ensure that you are putting your district in the safest position against litigation. It ensures that you have all the correct paperwork in order and you have a very complete 504 services plan for each student. And it also has a seamless way of communicating that plan with all of the stakeholders who need to know how to best serve those students. So again, if you want more information about Success Ed, please let me know, or you can contact Success Ed directly. All the information is found right here on this website. And because of the partnership that ESC Region 11 has with Success Ed. If you are a Region 11 district, you're able to receive a discount on their rate for this online software solution. Also here on this page, you'll see that we have a Section 504 Live Binder, and you can click on any of these tabs within this Live Binder and get great foundational resources on all things pertaining to Section 504. So if you might be a new Section 504 coordinator, you might want to click on some of these tabs to get, again, some very valuable foundational understandings of what Section 504 is and how it impacts our public and charter schools. Lastly, on this page, I just wanted to highlight for you a wonderful webinar called Section 504 Public Schools Issues, and it is about an hour and 20 minutes long. It is another way to access information about what Section 504 is and what the obligations are for school districts and charters when they're serving students that are protected under Section 504. This one does not require a registration. You can simply click and watch it. And as always, with all of the resources that are provided for you, please note that they are provided for educational purposes only. When you are seeking specific legal advice, we encourage you to consult your own school district or charter's legal counsel. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, and this is my contact information. You can feel free to email me or call me whenever you have a question regarding anything related to Section 504 or dyslexia. Many times school district representatives, counselors, assistant principals, teachers call me regarding Section 504 services plans, and I'm happy to go over them, review them with you to ensure, one, that they're in compliance with the law, and to ensure that they are adequately meeting the needs of the students that you serve. So please do call on me if you have any questions at all related to Section 504 or dyslexia. I hope you have a wonderful 2016-17 school year, and know that as the year goes on, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much and have a good day.